What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my very handsome and kind of thirsty co-host, John Luke Garofalo. What's up, JL?
What up? Happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here, and you know who I am happy is here as well. We got another member of the Front Yard fam, and it is his birthday on the show today. Joey Wright is with us. What's up, Joey? Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. This is this show is going to be one for the books today. I like our guest a little bit. So I mean, maybe you should introduce him, but yeah, I'm happy. Thank you for all the birthday wishes out there today. I've answered most of them. I think if I didn't answer yours, you're just not important. So
yeah, it's because he hates you if he hasn't answered yours yet, and it's
noted.
Strictly personal. Guys, also joining us today, Joey alluded to it, but it is a man who probably needs no introduction, but I'm going to freaking do it anyways. We've got Dave Richard from CBS with us. For those of you that do not know Dave has been creating fantasy sports content over at CBS Sports since 2005. Before that was with NFL.com. He was the 2013 FSWA Fantasy Football Writer of the Year, and you have probably seen him on a number of TV shows, heard him on radio shows, or as a regular over on Fantasy Football Today from CBS Sports HQ. Dave, thank you so much for coming on with us today, my man.
God, I feel old.
That's a hell of a resume. I went through the whole thing. He hit your whole CV.
He really did, man. He really did. Yeah, thank you. And it's great to be here with Simon and John, and can't wait to get started.
He's
Joey
playing hard to get on the birthday boy right there.
I'll win him over by the end. I know I will.
We'll see, unless you beat his ass in Fantasy Fortune, and then maybe not. But we'll see what's going on, guys. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Craig in here saying, insert generic salutation while sitting, and the show is starting. So everyone will give you a second to do that. Insert it. Dustin, what's up? He said everyone should be hashtag Team Joey since he's the best, but also because it's his birthday. A double reason right there.
Yes.
Jay Wall saying happy birthday, Joey.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Scamper saying happy birthday, Joey. And we got Albert in the chat saying good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon,
saying,
Albert.
Dave, you already got a cheering section for the game today, Dave, in the chat.
Oh, wow. Is my wife here?
Is your wife Albert?
No, she is not an Albert.
Similar. Mr. Scamper said I had a pizza ad and there was a souped up VW bug on fire, so I clicked away.
That's a new one.
It's pretty scary. That's a weird way to advertise pizza right there. Mr. Scamper said, Mr. Dave. And we got Tim in the chat saying, happy birthday, brother.
Are you coming over for dinner tonight? Mom's bringing Tijuana Flats. So, yeah.
Tijuana Flats.
Oh, my gosh. Jay said I graduated high school in 2005. So he's coming in with a little bit of that. And John, what's up? What's up, guys? Be blessed. Same to you, John. Hope you're doing well. Guys, today we brought Dave on here to play some Fantasy Fortune with us. Before we get into that, though, before we hit our usual reminders, I did want to talk to Dave about something in particular. Dave, you might have a little bit of an advantage, I think, going into this game, because if I'm not mistaken, you have appeared on the actual Wheel of Fortune, correct? You've got some real on-TV experience with the real game, right?
Facts. I recorded the show in 2005, and it aired in February of 2006.
Wow.
Got to guess letters and spin the wheel, and even spent some time talking to Pat Sajak and Vanna White. I know you're all jealous. It's the biggest deal that anybody could have. There's like, you could go to the moon, you could win a Super Bowl, you could meet Pat Sajak and Vanna White. It's those three things.
Number three.
Else.
I'm taking number three every time.
So I've got two of those three things down. Like you guys, I've been to the moon. So having the Wheel of Fortune, it's an advantage and it's an edge for sure.
It's an edge. How did you do on that show? I'm going to have to admit, I haven't watched that episode, Dave.
So when you go on Wheel of Fortune, you're guaranteed at least $1,000 if you don't win any puzzles. And if you don't, that's really it. The only way you can win prizes and stuff is if you actually solve puzzles.
Right.
So the bare minimum, house minimum is $1,000. I won almost $30,000 in cash and prizes. I took down every single puzzle except one. And I knew the puzzle that I didn't get, but someone else beat me to it. Another lady.
Wow.
I'm all of a sudden very sweaty.
You were like, I met Pat Sajak and Vanna
White. You weren't before?
And then I asked another question, and you're like, and I won $30,000. Like, just dropping that.
I got every puzzle.
Well,
even the one I didn't get.
It wasn't all in cash. There was a $1,000 gift card to Body Glove. And I mean, take a
Is that
look
like
at me,
scuba?
guys.
Wow.
The
I mean, is
scuba
this not
gear?
a body made for Body Glove? I think I also got a Hawaiian Tropic gift card.
Oh,
The
what is
theme
that?
of the theme of Wheel
sunscreen?
of Fortune. Yeah. The theme of Wheel of Fortune that week was fun in the sun. They were
Okay.
filming in Fort Lauderdale. So they're not about to give away parkas and snow shovels.
Of course.
So I got $1,000 at those places, and
Lifetime supply of sunscreen.
yeah,
Really?
no one's gonna have skin cancer in my house for a real long time. It's
You are
great.
always
We also
oiled up.
I also won 2 trips. My wife and I had always wanted to go to Hawaii. We won a trip to Hawaii. That was fun.
Nice.
My daughter came 9 months later, and I also won a trip to New York, which I'd been going to New York for work every other week, so it was kind of funny in a silly way to win a trip
Yeah.
to New York. I was like, all right, go to the place you've already been going to every weekend for the last 2 years. And listen, it was a lot of fun. A lot goes into making Wheel of Fortune great.
I
Stuff
bet.
that you guys probably don't even think about. And only the winners get to meet Pat and Vanna. It's not like Pat and Vanna come into the contestants' dressing room before the show and hobnob and take pictures. They've got very strict rules on game shows where you can't meet anybody that's involved with the show because they don't want there to be any cheating of any kind.
It's
Right.
interesting.
That's
So
smart.
literally all of the contestants, for all the week's worth of shows that they're recording, they record a week's worth of shows in one day. They're all herded into one big room, and the makeup is done in that room, and everybody, you draw straws to figure out who's playing where. And it was a hell of an experience, and I'm glad I did it. And it really, it's prepared me for this very moment.
Of course. It's all been leading up to now.
It's been leading up to this so that I can take down Joey in Fantasy Fortune on his birthday.
Yes. I'm
And
here
he's
for the
cheering,
heat.
you're cheering for it.
Give me
Yeah.
that smoke.
Okay.
And you know, that sounds a little different from here, where you and I met right before this, and I gave you all of the answers before we started the game show. It's like just weird to see the differences between how the two shows are run right there. But guys, without further ado, we are going to get into our game in a moment. Before we do that, a couple reminders. Number
so
one,
little ado.
no little ado. With just a little ado, we are going to get into our game. But number one, the first ado. If you are not already following our guest Dave over on Twitter, go and fix that right now. He's got the always changing name, but his handle will always be at Dave Richard. It is right there below his handsome face, and it's his name. It's easy enough to remember, so make sure you go over there and follow him. Truly one of the best in the business. After you do that, guys, if you're watching this, that means you're already on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoy what we're doing here. If you like games, if you like us, if you want to wish Joey a happy birthday, that would probably be a kind of helpful way to do it. And also hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell to make sure you never miss when we're going live right here. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this puzzle board. We've got a bunch of puzzles for you. I'm going to explain how this game works, and then we are going to jump straight into it. The game we are playing today is called Fantasy Fortune. It is a lot like the popular TV show Wheel of Fortune, except with a fantasy or NFL twist. Instead of spinning a wheel, contestants are going to be answering 50-50 NFL or fantasy-related trivia questions. Get that question right, you're going to get to guess a consonant that you think is in the puzzle on the screen. For every consonant that shows up, you're going to earn $500 towards your round bank. Get a question right, get the letter right, you get to go again one more time. Do that again, you're going to get to go again one more time, but we will stop you after 3 turns. After that third turn where you get a question right and a letter right, you will get to bank all of that money regardless, but you're only going to have 5 seconds to solve before we move on to our next contestant.
Okay.
At any point during your turn, there are 2 other actions you can take. As long as it is before a question has been asked, you can ask to buy a vowel. They are 100 per vowel that shows up on the board. So I'm going to have you're going to have a minimum of $500 in your round bank to say you want to purchase a vowel to cover any vowels that show up there. You can also solve the puzzle at any point during your turn, and solving the puzzle will earn you a minimum of $1,000 into your total bank. Not 1,000 plus whatever you have in your round bank. If you've got 2,000, you're earning 2,000. But if you've got 500 and you think you can pull the solve out, it'll be a minimum of 1K added to your total round bank. We'll go like this till we run out of puzzles or run out of time, at which point Dave will be, the person with the most points will be our champion.
Wait. Is this contest rigged?
No, sorry. I just got a little ahead of myself
I
right
fully
there.
trust your answer then.
I got so nervous, or I got so ahead of myself and excited listening to Dave talk about his Wheel of Fortune successes that I think I just started saying it was going to happen right there. You guys ready to get into it?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Everything I just described, throw it out the window for this first puzzle. It's the only one that's going to be
Oh,
different.
God.
We're doing a toss-up.
I do so bad
how,
at these.
How this is going to work is I'm going to pull a puzzle up. Letters are going to slowly reveal. If you think you know it, scream your name. And if you are the first person to scream your name and guess it, you're going to get $500 added to start this game. Angel gets to go first on our first full puzzle. Are you guys ready?
Yep. I always have trouble screaming my own name. I always just yell. And
Can I
That's
scream
okay.
Joey's name?
You can
can.
scream Joe's
that's
name,
a
yeah.
strategy. If you think the person doesn't know it, you can yell their name and then they look dumb. Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm going to start revealing letters. Yell your name if you think you know who it is.
JL.
Okay, JL, who do you think this player is?
Greg Dulcich.
It is Greg Dulcich, JL. That is going to give you $500 into your
It's my
round
sweet
bank.
tasting last name.
And before we go further, I did want to stop. There's a reason I put this name in here. I wanted to talk about Greg Dulcich a little bit because I feel like we've been seeing some hype out of camp that he may be the tight end there in Denver. He may be the guy over Albert O. Dave, are you buying into this Greg Dulcich rookie tight end hype, or are you still thinking Albert O might be the most targeted guy there in that offense?
Buying into it. I kind of am, because we've seen Albert Okwuegbunam participating deep into preseason games. And to me, that's not a sign that he's a backup. That's a sign that the coaching staff wants to get him experience. And one of the things I think they wanted him to do was become a better blocker. And he did a lot of blocking, but he was on the ground a lot. And there's a story about my kid. He had a teammate, and when he was playing basketball, he was always on the ground too, like trying to get the basketball or falling down. And his coach called him the mop. So in my notes for Albert O, I wrote down mop.
The mop.
And so I'm thinking of him as a mop, and mops don't get fantasy points. When you're falling down on the ground and you don't have the ball and it's not in the end zone, it doesn't really help you out. And I wonder if the Broncos coaching staff kind of realizes that Albert O he's got big size, he's got solid speed. Maybe he can't be that guy. And
Loves
so
the ground
Greg
too much.
Dulcich looked like a mini George Kittle at UCLA. I loved watching him play.
Me too.
He's got some good talent for sure. And I think the Broncos could eventually utilize him in a big way, but I don't think it's going to happen to start the season. And I don't know if it's going to happen at all this season. I think I would just tell everybody to stay away from any Denver Broncos pass catcher not named Jerry or Cortland in their fantasy drafts this year.
I tend to agree with you. I love Greg Dulcich. He was my favorite tight end coming out in this class. I just loved watching him play, but there's not much you can usually expect from a rookie tight end unless something crazy happens, like an Evan Ingram scenario where he truly is the only body available to catch passes. Or you get these guys that are profile more as receivers instead of as tight ends, and the teams can start utilizing him in that way. And I don't think that's what they want to do with Dulcich. I'm in line with you. In Dynasty, I'm buying. I'm trying to gather some Greg Dulcich everywhere, but not in redraft. Joey, do you agree, or you think differently on Dulcich?
Yeah, you hit on my little point that like rookie tight ends, like if you got to bet one way or another, you're going to bet that the rookie tight end, not till maybe the next year or the third year. I mean, even with Kyle Pitts, like he just didn't have touchdowns. He had the yards last year, but so yeah, I wouldn't expect
we got
Dulcich
Mr.
to do much this year.
Mr. Scammers in saying body glove model Dave Richard. I
Richard.
forgot that in my intro right there. Andrew, and you're saying happy birthday to Joey,
Andrew,
and Josh
thank
saying
you.
happy birthday, you son of
Hey.
a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
One of the
Hey,
groomsmen of my
JL.
wedding.
We had some
Sorry,
people in
Mom.
the chat getting this one right. Andrew, J Wall, Mr. Scamper is close, but just said
Dolce.
sweet.
Dulce.
That means sweet, right?
Mhm.
Guys, I forgot one more rule. It didn't matter for this one, but it's going to matter going forward. Once a puzzle is on the board, make sure all of our contestants are over in the private chat, not in the comments, because our viewers are very smart and usually solve the puzzles before the people on the show. And everyone watching, play along. Throw your answers in the chat. If you get it before anyone on the show, we will shout you out after the puzzle has been solved. And if you're really wrong or you make us laugh, we'll probably shout you out as well, mock you a little bit on the air.
We love when
guys,
you play along.
You ready for the next puzzle?
Yep. Maria
Yes.
said, happy birthday, Joey.
Thank you, Maria. You're on the clock. Sorry, excuse me.
Guys, This is your next puzzle, and the category is bad fantasy team names. These are team names that I objectively think or subjectively think are very bad. Yeah, this is an objectively bad fantasy team name as decided by me. So that's your puzzle category. Ones we've had in the past are it's Ass, ETN, Season. That's the only one I can think of that actually comes to mind. But JL, you got that one right in the toss-up, so you are going to go first. Are you ready for your first question? Why did you use that
as the example?
It's the only one I could think of.
You just went with it. You're like, I'm going with that.
Do you know how many weeks it took me to get Dave on the show, and then you throw that out there, Simon?
I know. How unprofessional.
I know.
All right, who goes first?
You do,
I go
JL.
First. Right. Okay, I'll take a question. I have no idea what this is.
JL, we are going to start with just some straight up fantasy football points. Okay. That's what this category is going to be. All questions I ask around fantasy points will be PPR related. Okay. So if I don't say PPR, you can just assume PPR. Okay. JL, who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Adam Thielen or was it Tyler Lockett?
I hate my Tyler Lockett questions.
I know that.
Adam Thielen, 10 touchdown. Thielen. I'm gonna still go with Lockett because I feel like it's always Lockett.
You would be correct, JL. It is Lockett here. 241.4 to Adam Thielen's 199.8. Which letter would you like in this puzzle?
Let's go with the T.
T as in taco?
Yeah.
There are two T's in this puzzle. Can add 1,000 to your round bank. Would you like another question? Would you like to buy a vowel?
I'll take another question.
Another question. Okay, JL, who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Tony Pollard or was it Darrell Williams?
Darrell Williams. What was the first one again? Who's the first
Tony
option?
Pollard.
Tony Pollard. I'll go with Darrell Williams.
Darrell Williams is correct, JL. The RB20 last season had 196 PPR fantasy points to Tony Pollard 162.6. Man, I thought I was going to get you with both of those. I thought
you were going to get me.
And you've gotten through them. Which letter
you know what my strategy that's working is I go with whatever the one is the opposite of what I think.
Be careful.
I don't think anybody can take that strategy. All right, I'll take I had to guess a letter here. I'm gonna go with an R.
An R. There's one R in this puzzle, JL. This is your last opportunity to buy any vowels if you would like to.
I need no vowels.
Yeah.
Give me another question.
Okay, JL, this will be your last question. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Nyheim Hines or was it Sony Michel?
Sony Michel.
Sony Michel is correct. That one wasn't as tricky, but it was a little bit closer than you may think. Only about 35 fantasy points separating them on the season. Which letter would you like, JL?
I'll take an S.
An S. There are no S's in this puzzle, JL. No. Which means we are moving on to Dave based on the order we got set up here. David, it's your turn. Would you like to solve this puzzle or would you like a question?
I would like a question. I'm not ready to solve yet.
Okay, we're going to stick with some PPR fantasy points for this first full round through. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season, Dave? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Chris Godwin or was it Cole Beasley?
I'm going to say Godwin had more.
It was Godwin, even though he played in fewer games. Which letter would you like, Dave?
I would like an N, please.
An N, and there are two N's in this puzzle.
With the N.
But at 1,000, here you can choose to buy a vowel if you would like. You can solve, or we can go on to your second question.
I'm going to go on to my second question, please.
Okay, another question for Dave. Dave, my question for you is who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Brandon Ayuk or was it Darnell Mooney?
Mooney.
It was Mooney, Dave. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with D, please.
D.
For Dave.
And there's one D in this puzzle.
One D. Okay.
This will be your last opportunity to buy any vowels this round, if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'd like to buy an E, please. I know that there's at least two.
Yeah.
And there are
and
only
those
two.
Are the only two.
Track 200. You can buy another vowel if you would like.
Well, shoot, let's do it. A. This isn't real money, right? You guys aren't actually sending me the money.
We pay out Cole's cash.
Oh, yeah, we send out Cole's cash.
My wife would love you for that.
It's expired. Just don't tell her. They usually take it. We got that A up there as well, Dave. Only
All right, so
one.
I got to go with the last question.
or you can buy more vowels if you would like to do so.
Yeah, enough.
Oh, how many more vowels can I buy? Because I might
Until
as
you
well.
run out or have less than $500.
Let's freaking go. Oh, please.
There is one O
Okay,
in
so
this
you guys
puzzle.
are all right. So let's do the U.
There is one
Okay.
U in this puzzle.
I'd like to
And-
buy a vowel, please.
And which vowel would you like, Dave?
I, please.
The I. Of course, that makes sense.
All
there are
right.
2 I's in this puzzle, and all the vowels have been purchased now.
Are
They
you
brought
sure?
it down to 800.
This is
Unless
why
I've got
I
some
count.
secret ones hidden. But Dave, would you like to move on to your last
Yeah,
question?
yeah. Let's go to the third question, please.
Let's do it. Here is your third question. Get this one right and get the letter right. You will add all of this money to your bank. My question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Damien Harris or was it AJ Dillon?
Harris.
It was Harris. It was
Oh.
closer than I thought, though. 210 to 185.6. Which letter would you like, Dave? If this is up there, you're banking your money, regardless of if you solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
H.
H. There is one H in this
Wow.
puzzle.
So risky.
That was
Gonna-
that was bold.
Gonna add 500. This is gonna bank that money.
I
But
would have
Dave,
100% been a coward and went with F.
Dave, I will give you 5 seconds to try to solve this before we move on to Joey.
3, 2.
Fournette. Something and
we
I'm
moved
not this
on.
close.
To Joey.
Oh.
You were the puzzle guy. Come on, Dave.
I'm the.
I had Fournette solved. Like got that
Yeah,
Oh.
good job, Joey. You,
with
you
the 2
nailed it.
T's. So, but
Joey,
I'm puzzled. So let's
do you
go.
want a
Give me a
question?
question. I
Okay,
can't buy
Joey,
vowels, so
we're sticking in that same category.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
I don't have money to do
Vowel
this.
hog. My question for you, Joey, is who had
Yes.
more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more
Got it.
PPR fantasy points last
Mhm.
season? Was it Robbie Anderson or was it Van Jefferson?
I'm gonna say Van Jefferson because I want that to be the correct answer.
It was Van Jefferson
Thank
by
you.
about 30 PPR points. Joey, which letter would you like?
F.
There are 2 F's in
I
this
thought-
puzzle, Joey. Gonna add a
Coward.
1,000. Would you like to? You can only solve or take a question. Those are your options, Joseph.
He can buy a vowel. He's just not going to get any letters.
Yeah, that's true. If you say buy a vowel, we'll move on to jail immediately.
Yes.
I,
say it.
I have another question. I do not know it.
Okay, another question. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Alan Lazard or was it Devonta Smith?
Oh man, Lazard had touchdowns. He did have touchdowns. Still gonna go Devonta Smith though.
And Joey, you would be correct. Devonta
Yes.
Smith is the correct answer.
Sneaky
Which
mom.
letter would you like?
An L.
There are
Oh!
1, 2,
Oh,
3 L's,
I
Joey.
got
Got it.
I'm
That's
guessing
a
you'd like
great
to solve.
puzzle.
I would like to solve. It is Fournette, Flicks, and Chill.
It is
Well
for
done,
Netflix
Joey.
and chill, Joey. You solved it. That's gonna add
You little stinker.
2,500 to your bank right there. And we had someone in the chat, Dustin, about 4
Dustin in
minutes
the
ago,
chat.
come in and get that one for Netflix and chill. Nice
4
job
minutes ago?
on that one.
Oh,
I
dear
know,
Lord.
right? And they're just shouting them out right there. Dustin, you brilliant man. And Dustin said, I kind of like that team name. I do
That's not bad.
Not bad. Was
That's
I
not bad.
wrong on this one? Josh said yes, and Mr. Scamper says for Netflix and Chili would be better than for Netflix and Chill.
That would be pretty
Netflix
funny.
and Chili, yeah, maybe that's
Doesn't
their new
make as
phrase
much
now.
sense, but yeah, it's a good one.
Hopefully, it's not a long movie.
Guys, I know we talked about Fournette a little bit on the show yesterday, but Dave, I wanted to throw this to you. Are you concerned about Fournette in this offense at all? I know there were early offseason worries about his weight or his shape, and then he kind of slowed down with injury at the end of last season. But do you think he's still going to be the guy in this backfield?
Yes, I think he's going to be the guy because I don't think Tom Brady is ready to trust Rashad White if he doesn't have to. I don't think he's going to want to trust Keyshawn Vaughn either. Giovanni Bernard, once he's healthy, could end up being pretty decent as an occasional passing downs or 2-minute drill type running back. But I think Fournette's proved that he can handle the big workload. He's in shape now. I think the biggest concern is the state of the offensive line right now in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt to work it out. But if they're missing 3/5 of their starters from what they planned at the beginning of the year, that could be a problem. That could be a problem for Brady in terms of passing. He won't be as well protected as he's used to. That could lower his upside just a smidge, and it could lower Fournette's efficiency just a smidge. But I still feel like the Bucs are a smart enough team to work around those issues, provided that Wirfs is healthy. Mm-hmm. I think they'll come up with something at center. They'll make do with something at guard, assuming they don't make a big trade to try and solidify that front five. So it's a downgrade for now, but not one that's really impacting how I'm drafting Fournette. He's still a round 2 guy for me. And Brady, I know this isn't Brady flicks and chill, but I think that he's one of the best values on draft day. I think he's going like, where was he? I think he's QB9 on Fantasy Pros and QB11 in NFC drafts over the last week.
Wow. Really?
Don't hold me to that. It could be the other way because I'm old and I mess stuff up. But in either case, he's not even a top 8 quarterback. And he's got top 3 potential. So I'm not really I'm not that nervous about Brady this year. I think he'll get the job done for fantasy.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree with you, Dave.
Yeah. You read my mind. I was going to say, is Fournette still worth that end of the second draft cost? And it sounds like you absolutely think so at this point. He's worth that.
Yes.
Yeah. We got William in here saying happy birthday, Joey. What's up,
Billy?
Welcome in, Billy.
Billy was actually in an episode of Starts and Salutations. When I got lost in the woods, the hiker that came up to me and said, "You don't need hiking poles in Florida." That's Billy.
And
a little peek behind the curtain.
And we got Mike in here saying jail being at $0 makes
Hey, that's a mistake. I'm supposed to be at 500, Simon. What the heck?
You are supposed to be at 500, jail. That's my bad.
Thanks for pointing it out, Mike. Thanks for the $500, Mike.
Mr. Scary said master of all ADPs and hold him to it, Dave Richard.
Hey.
That's a beautiful intro right there. Guys, I'm going to pull up the next puzzle and we are going to get started. Joey, you solved that one, which means jail. You're going to start on this puzzle as well.
Really mashup.
And our next category is former teammates. These are people that have been on the same NFL team together before. One moment. I just realized something.
Uh-oh.
You know what? I'm going to give you something. They're former teammates and their current teammates, just on different teams. I realized as I looked at this puzzle that I made it looking at a roster from years ago when they were both on a different team, but they are both, in fact, on the same team again. So they are former teammates and current teammates. There was a gap in between. I'll just give you all that information from the beginning right here.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
So they are on the same team right now.
They are on the same team.
Current
former teammates is very misleading, and I don't know why I just thought of that as I looked at this puzzle right here instead of when I was writing it. JL, you are up first.
All right.
Would you like a question?
I'm going to need a question, Simon, and I'm out of the chat.
And we are going to go with some targets questions. These are my favorite, JL. Who was targeted more last season? Was it Michael Pittman Jr. or was it Mike Evans?
Oh, no. Give me a different one.
Sorry.
Okay. Mike Evans or Pittman. I'm going to go with Evans.
I'm sorry, JL. It was Michael Pittman Jr. with 129 targets last season.
That's a lot of
Mike
targets.
Evans with 114. Dave, we are going to move on to you. Are you ready for your question? It's Michael Pittman. Which letter would you like? Dave, my question for you is who had more targets last season? Was it A.J. Brown or was it Hunter Renfrow?
Renfrow.
It was Renfrow, 128 to 105. Which letter would you like?
I think I know the first part of this. I just want to confirm it. So let's go with N, please.
There are 2 N's in this puzzle. Are those where you thought they were, Dave?
Absolutely not. I'd like to keep guessing.
Absolutely not.
Would you like another question? Or would
yes,
you like
please.
To buy
Another question.
No vowels. Wow, what a surprise.
Well, I mean, I'm behind Joey. That can't stand, so I'm going to keep on with the question.
Dave, here is my next question for you. Who was targeted more last season? Was it Travis Kelce or was it CeeDee Lamb?
Kelce.
It was Kelce, but by only 14 targets. CeeDee Lamb was up there with 120. Which letter would you like, Dave?
S, please.
S. There's 1 S in this puzzle. Going to add another 500. This will be your last opportunity to buy vowels, unless it gets back to you, or you can
It'll
just
get
go
back
to your
to me.
third question.
They don't have a clue. So another question, please.
Okay, we're going to do one more targets question for you, Dave. Who had more targets last season? Was it Christian Kirk or was it Marvin Jones Jr.?
I want to get this one wrong so that the board stays a little empty.
Oh, strategy.
Then you don't bank the money.
Oh, that's right. Shoot. Then I need to answer Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones is correct.
Oh.
Marvin Jones with 120.
I swear to you, I was about to say Christian Kirk because I didn't want to put a lot of letters on the board because I don't want you guys to win the puzzle, but I need to bank the money to stay competitive. But I still have to guess a letter that's actually
still have to guess
so
a
I
letter
can't
that's
guess a
up there.
Z unless there's a Z in there, which would be a little something. T, please.
There are no T's in this puzzle, Dave. I'm so sorry. The RSTLNE betraying you a little bit right there.
Wow.
I
should have guessed Z.
Should have guessed
That's
Z.
all right. That's all right. I still don't think that Joey and JL are gonna do very well.
That's
there,
a safe
so
bet.
It'll get
Joey's
back to me.
counting up there doing something, making me nervous. Joey, it is your turn. Would you like a question or would you like to solve?
Question.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's scary. Why is that so terrifying?
He's focused.
I know. It's a question.
No,
I
I thought the bottom name was Dak Prescott, but there's
Oh.
no T's,
No.
so it can't be Dak Prescott.
Joey, who was targeted more last season? Was it Kyle Pitts or was it Jacoby Myers?
Ooh. And Jacoby Myers has led the Patriots in, was it receptions last year in targets? I'm still going to say Kyle Pitts. I don't feel confident, though.
I'm sorry, Joey. It was
Yeah.
Jacoby
Yeah.
Myers. Jacoby Myers had way more
Yeah.
targets than you think. 126 targets
Right?
last season.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's shaping up and camping in those preseason games to maybe be the lead target on those Patriots again. But we shall see. JL, that means we're moving on to you. It was a quick birthday turn. It is your turn. Would you like another question? Would you like to solve?
I need another question.
You could.
I hate that Dave's going to be right and it's going to come back to him.
But it's going to come back to me with no extra letters.
Yeah, nothing.
So
has
I'm
changed.
right back where I was before.
Yeah, what you counted on these guys sucking, but you didn't count on how hard they suck.
Yeah.
Just quite the extent to which they're terrible. JL,
All right,
we're
I'll
going to
take a
move over to
question.
some rushing yards questions. Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Javonte Williams or was it Antonio Gibson?
Gibson.
It was Gibson. He had over 1,000 and Javonte did not. Which letter would you like, JL?
Let's go with an R.
An R. There are 3 R's in this puzzle. Going to add 1,500. What would you like to do here, JL? Would you like to solve? Would you like to buy a vowel or would you like
Can I
your
buy
second
a vowel?
question? Yes, you can buy a vowel.
Thank you.
have
I
to
gotta
tell
tell you
me
what
which
vowel,
one.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'll take an A.
An A as in apple.
Yeah.
There are 2 A's in this puzzle, JL. I'm going to subtract 200. What would you like to do now? Would you like
Can
to
I
buy another vowel?
an O?
An O?
Yeah.
There are 2 O's in this puzzle as well, JL.
Can I buy an I?
You can buy an I. There is 1 I in this puzzle.
I'll take another question.
Okay, another question. Who had more rushing yards last season, JL? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Devin Singletary or was it Rashad Penny?
Oh my God, I hate that question. I'll go with Rashad Penny.
I'm sorry, I tricked you with Rashad Penny yet again, JL. It was not Rashad Penny. It was Devin Singletary, which means, Dave, we are moving on to you. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle or buy a
I would like to solve this puzzle, but
You
if I
son
were
of a-
playing the actual Wheel of Fortune, I would be spinning the wheel. I just don't want to get a question wrong. Do I just solve now?
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks and Rex Burkhead.
Rex Burkhead.
It is
of
Brandon
course,
Cooks
it's
and Rex
Burkhead.
Burkhead, former teammates on the New England Patriots and current teammates on the Houston Texans.
totally
Dave
forgot they were on the
pulled
Patriots.
that one out. Nice
Whoa.
job. That's going to add 1,500 to your bank and give you the lead over the birthday boy, Joey
Birthday boy.
Wright.
It's all right.
It is
We're
now
Well done, Dave.
2,800 for Dave, 2,500 for Joey, and 500 for JL.
Coming back.
Nice job on that one, Dave. Dave,
Thanks,
is
well
there any interest in Rex Burkhead this year? It's a confusing backfield there in Houston and not an exciting offense, but he was the lead rusher for them last year, I believe, the most attempts. Do you have any reason to draft him this year?
I mean, there's great fantasy football team names that could be made with Rex Burkhead's name.
Of course.
From dinosaurs to things for people who are 21 and older. But I don't think fantasy managers are real keen on him. I think Damien Pierce is the one that everybody's excited about.
Yeah.
The film from the preseason, it was only one preseason game, but man, he was explosive, very violent runner. The one thing I didn't like about him is that I felt like he was a little unbalanced when he was running. It was either a case of him being like way too excited, way too amped up, like he had like 4 of those cans of C4 before he took the field, or he was running on his toes instead of taking on the turf with his feet. It's just one of those weird nuances. But I think he gets it settled. I think he'll end up being the lead back in Houston. And this matters not at all to Damien Pierce. But if you go back through recent history in Houston, not last year, but the year before, it was David Johnson, then it was Carlos Hyde, then it was Lamar Miller. They had a pretty consistent streak of running backs that were getting over 1,000 yards total and 6+ touchdowns. Now, Deshaun Watson was there, and I think Deshaun has a lot to do with it. But Houston's got Davis Mills now. All right, that's not as good. But I think that Pierce, I think the offensive line will be better. I think the Texans in general will be better. And I think that Damien Pierce is now worth that round 7 choice that we talk about. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Damien Pierce drafted ahead of Tom Brady. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think you might see that in your drafts because people are looking for those breakout running backs, especially when they get them at a mid-round value. And I think Pierce is going to be the lead back in Houston, not the every down guy. Marlon Mack still had some bursts, and Burkhead does have 3-down skill sets. I wouldn't say he's a great player. I don't even know if he's going to make the team, but he can provide at bare minimum depth to play any down for Houston. So that's where we're at. I believe, Joey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but at the Kings Classic, I was in 2 drafts, 14 teams, 16 rounds each. I don't think Rex Burkhead was taken in either one.
I do not believe. I know in the snake draft he was not.
Okay,
but yeah, I do not know about the auction. I can't imagine he was.
No, and I think what you're saying makes sense. And I'm really gonna miss the like 15th, 16th round Damien Pierce that you could draft earlier this offseason after the NFL draft. That's just not gonna happen anymore after what people have seen in that preseason game. What you're talking about, Dave.
Don't forget that Marlon Mack is there too.
Yeah. Gator has a question here. Joey wants to know, do you read all those books behind you, Joey?
They're CDs, Gator.
And Mr. Scamper says, those are all Dreamcast games, Gator. Those are not books. Come on, Joey's
one of my favorite ongoing jokes.
Yeah.
None of us have ever acknowledged it. We just constantly annoy Joey by bringing it up.
For the 900th time, these are all films. And I love it when you guys say this. Because, do I look like a person that's how to read? Like, honestly.
But you look like a person that watches the hell out of a movie.
Oh, guys, I watched one this morning. Anyways, go.
This morning?
We're going to move on to our next puzzle. And guys, your category for this one is former player movie mashup. So this is a former NFL player, not currently in the league, mashed up with a movie title. Examples we've had in the past are like, Dude, Where's My Derek Carr? Boston Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Things like that. So we're just taking a former NFL player's name, smashing it together with a movie, and that is our puzzle right here. Who solved that last one? Dave, you solved that last puzzle, right?
I did.
So we're going to start with Joey. Yeah. Joey, you are up first, and I think this is one of your favorite categories.
It is. I like this category. I rarely get it right because people solve it before me, but I like it because
And Scott wants to know, is this one confusingly former and current too, Simon? Yeah, this guy was an NFL player, still is, but
and also still is.
No, this is,
and will be in
truly
the future.
A former player. Like if you Google their name, it says former NFL blank position. So I almost just said their position. Thank you for verifying that, Simon. Yeah. Joey, are you ready for your first question?
Yeah, I am.
Joey, we're gonna do some ADP right here, and we're gonna look at sleeper ADP in PPR leagues. Okay.
All right.
So what I want to know from you is who is currently being drafted earlier according to sleeper 1 quarterback PPR ADP. Who is being drafted earlier? Is it Jamar Chase or is it Alvin Kamara?
I don't disagree with anyone taking Kamara over Chase, but it is Chase. It has to be Chase.
It does have to be
Oh
Chase.
my
You're absolutely
God.
right, Joey, but it's not that far
It was
apart. Jamar
tricky,
Chase is the 9th, and Alvin Kamara is the 17th player off the board now. He's rising rapidly.
He is so fast. That's why I was thrown off a little bit. Okay. T.
Joey, which letter would you like? T?
Yeah.
There are 4 T's in this puzzle.
Big
Gonna
boy.
add 2,000 to your score just to start this off. Would you like to buy a vowel or would you like another question? Oh, an E.
Mm-hmm.
There are 1, 2, 3 E's. Going to subtract 300. What would you like to do now?
Oh my God.
I've
got it.
Would you like another question?
I would like to buy an O because I'm gonna I'm gonna let this run out.
There are 1, 2 O's, Joey. Would you like another question? Would you like to buy a vowel or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I would like to buy an A.
Okay. There are 2 A's in this puzzle, Joey. Would you like to buy a vowel? You can buy another vowel, or you can take another question, or you can solve this puzzle.
I want a question.
Oh,
I feel
Okay,
good about
a question. Here's your question, Joey. Who is currently being drafted earlier according to Sleeper PPR ADP? I did start the question, so you're going to have to get this right, Joey. Who is currently being drafted earlier? Is it DJ Moore or is it Kyle Pitts?
Oh my God, you're an ass. DJ.
Always good to curse at the host.
DJ Moore.
I'm sorry, Joey.
Kyle
It is
Pitts.
Kyle
It is.
Pitts.
Oh, no.
Kyle Pitts is being taken 30th overall. DJ Moore down at 45, which means we are going to move on to JL. JL, would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Oh, I know part of
Or
it.
buy a
I just
vowel,
don't
but
know
you don't
the
have
other
any
part
money.
of it that I need. I'll take a question.
Okay, who is currently being drafted earlier, JL? Who is currently being drafted earlier? Is it Breece Hall or is it Cam Akers?
Breece Hall.
I'm sorry, it is Cam Akers by
That's
almost a
baloney.
full round, according to Sleeper PPR ADP, which means, Dave, we are moving on to you. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this?
I would like to get a question because I don't know the whole thing.
Joey is up there panicking. Just
No,
praying
I
that it gets back to him.
I don't have the
No. You've got a shot, dude. You've got a shot. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Here is your question, Dave. Who is currently being drafted earlier, according to Sleeper PPR ADP? Is it Allen Robinson or is it DK Metcalf?
I'm going to say Robinson.
I am sorry. It is DK
That's
Metcalf
DK
at
Metcalf.
47,
Oh, no.
Robinson at 59, one full round separating them, which means, Joey, we are back to you. Would you like a
Hi.
question? Would you like to solve or would you like to buy a vowel?
I finally got it. I would like to solve.
Okay, let's hear it, Joey.
And because this is so, I love this puzzle because, the Matt Forte year-old virgin.
It is the Matt Forte year-old
no.
virgin, Joey. You got that one absolutely correct.
That's
Gonna
such a
add
good puzzle.
1,300
It's a
to
great
your
puzzle.
round bank.
That is fantastic.
Thank you. I was proud of that one.
I saw that movie on my 23rd birthday. Josh in the chat was with me.
Did you guys hold
Josh,
hands?
He was trying to hold someone's hand in the movie theater, but they wouldn't let him. And that person will remain nameless.
Was
Nice
it a
job,
stranger?
Joey.
It was one of our mutual female friends.
Wow.
She did
She
not
might have
want to
actually
hold his hand.
might have
I can't think of a more romantic movie to make a move on a girl than the Matt Forte year-old virgin.
Yeah.
Josh, I'm so sorry.
Feel like sandbags.
Yeah,
That
maybe
really-
maybe like
super
Bruno.
romantic.
Why?
I have this like debilitating
Bruno.
memory, like this just like awful childhood memory of like my very first date at a movie theater. I went to go see Bewitched with like my parents and her parents were sitting behind us, like well behind us, and it was the Will Ferrell Bewitched version. And I'm sitting up front and I'm like in the 6th grade and I'm a little bit prude at this point and kind of nervous. And all of a sudden Will Ferrell runs out onto the screen butt naked. And I choked on a Tootsie Roll and started like panicking and like coughing in the movie theater and like turned bright red because there's a naked man on the screen. I'm in the 6th grade with the girl on my first date and just, it's traumatic. I can't watch that movie without thinking about that experience.
Oh, I can't wait to bring that up. Future
You get her
moments.
on the show?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear her
Interview.
Yeah.
Burner said, "Suck it, JL."
You
And
suck it,
happy
Burner.
birthday,
Simon,
Joey.
you have to do it. You have to do it.
Burner.
Thank you.
Woo.
There it is.
Welcome
Look at all these
Burner.
inside
Glad
jokes
to
we
have you
have.
in here,
This is great.
I know.
guys.
And
We're gonna
House
move on
and-
to our.
I think this is
I'm
the
sorry, go
favorite,
ahead.
my favorite game that you
Thank
guys
you.
do. Me too, actually.
I
This is
like
my
it when I
favorite
can
game.
solve the puzzles.
It is fun.
How much time do we have left whenever we're going in here? Okay, you know what we're going
13
to do,
Stall.
Joey? For your birthday, we're going to pull up.
I would love to
This
play this game
puzzle.
sometime.
We have another former player movie
Oh, boy.
mashup. I made a couple of these because I know it's your favorite.
Did you run out of current players, Simon? What happened?
Yes. Well, all of my good ideas were former players today. I guess I forgot everyone that's currently in the NFL. But, there's only so many movies I can shove a player name into before I start having to go into the last
I literally lay in bed at night and mash up movie names with player names or pro wrestler names. I coined Razor Moncrief. That was me. Hunter Hearst Henry. That was me. Yeah, I've got a lot of them.
Can I steal it for Razor Ramondre Stevenson?
Oh, that's pretty good.
We bring it back. Let's go.
Okay.
Joey, you did
every year I wrote into the CBS show with pro wrestler names, and I would send it in. And Aza read it every year for like 6 years in a row.
We don't get a lot of emails.
We don't get a lot of emails.
Yeah, they got time to read every single one of those right there. And
Guys, we got an email. Oh, it's that Joey.
That's Joey again. It's another wrestler
name.
name.
It's more wrestler names, but it's good.
Somebody email this guy back.
Scott, it shouldn't be former player film mashup for Joey's sake.
Yes.
Yeah, it probably should be film mashup right there.
I watched a film this morning.
Joey, you got that one correct, which means JL, you are going to go first on this one. Are you
I'm here
ready?
To play the game.
You're here to play the game. Hey, you got that first toss-up puzzle. You started
nailed that first toss-up puzzle and nothing since.
Would you like a question, JL?
Yes, please.
Okay, JL, my question for you is who had a higher target share last season? So a higher target share on their own NFL team. That's a higher percentage of the targets on their team. Was it A.J. Brown or was it Tyler Lockett?
Had to be Tyler Lockett.
It was not. It was A.J. Brown, JL. A.J. Brown at 26.3% of his team targets. Ninth in that category. He was top 10 in target share last season, which means we're moving on to Dave. Dave, are you ready for your question?
Yes, please.
Okay, here is your question. Who had a higher target share last season? Who had a higher target share last season? Was it Keenan Allen or was it Mike Williams?
Pretty sure it was Keenan Allen.
It was Keenan Allen by about 5%. Dave, absolutely correct. Which letter would you like?
Let's start with T. T owes me after the last puzzle. Was it T that screwed me?
Bonk.
And there was no T in this puzzle either.
Twice now.
Man, that T's doing you dirty, Dave. I'm not sure you're ever going to look at that letter the same way again.
Never.
Joey, are you ready?
It's fantasy.
Fantasy.
Football now.
Fantasy football O'Day.
O'Day.
Joey, are you ready for your question?
Touchdown.
Please make Adam Mazer say that.
All right. Yeah, I want a question. This is fun.
Who had
like
a higher target share last season? Who had a higher target share last season? Was it Darnell Mooney or was it Hunter Renfrow?
Oh man, I'm Mooney.
It was Mooney. That was definitely a tricky one, Joey, because
it was.
Renfrow was peppered with targets, but you got that correct. Which letter would you like?
R.
There are no R's in this puzzle, which means
I think he was asking you, are you going to come over for my birthday today?
No. Sorry. I'll start driving, but I won't get there till tomorrow, Joey. My car's out of gas, just all those things. Texas is so far away from Florida. JL, are you ready for your first question?
Yeah.
Or would you like to solve?
I cannot. I would love to solve, but I can't.
Okay,
an amazing solve.
Who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it T. Higgins or was it Jalen Waddle?
Receiving yards, right?
Yes.
Waddle.
I am sorry. It was T. Higgins. T. Higgins had more receiving yards last year. Waddle had all those catches, but they were all for like half a yard. Dave, are you ready for your question?
Yes, please.
Give me some letters.
Okay.
Dave.
I hate this game.
Who had more receiving yards last season, Dave? Who had more receiving yards? Was it Dalton Schultz or was it Devonta Smith?
I think it was Schultz.
I'm sorry. It was Devonta Smith with 916.
That was
Dalton Schultz, 808. Joey, we are on to
Wait
you.
a minute. How many for Devontae?
916 for Devonta
916.
Smith.
Okay.
Way higher
hate
than you
when
think, right?
Way, yeah. Yep.
I hate when they cross positions.
I talked to him today.
You
Devonta
did?
Smith?
I did, yeah.
That's so cool.
I found out that he's a big Wawa guy.
Oh,
I
Am I
mean-
allowed to bring up other sponsors on your show?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
You have none,
He's
so.
a big Wawa guy. He told the media today. And so, like, of course, as soon as he's done, I like turn around. I'm like, I like Wawa too. And he's like, yep, it's the best.
It's good.
Anyway.
It's good.
And guess what I had for lunch today?
Wawa.
Oh, guess what I'm having after the stream?
I had no idea that there was Wawa in Florida. I had only ever had it whenever I was like up north, and then
Yeah.
went to Universal Studios and we were pulling out, and there it was, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Made my girlfriend pull over. We got in. It's phenomenal. The only
I'm
gas
there.
station that can compete is Buc-ee's.
And we
That's the
have
only
those
one
now,
that's close. And now you have Buc-ee's.
We don't
Yeah.
have those down in our part of Florida.
Not yet. They're coming.
Not yet. So Wawa is it for me, and I'm
They're on their way.
probably inside of a Wawa 3 times a week minimum.
Really?
Yeah, I
Heavy
love it.
Wawa user.
Well, there's one real close to our office, and it's so convenient.
Yeah. It's just
I've
good.
been
It's good
drinking a lot of Wawa to try to recover recently, so hopefully that'll continue.
There it is.
Joey, it is your turn. Are you ready for your question, or would you like to solve?
I would like a question.
Who had more receiving yards last
Okay.
season, Joey? Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Adam Thielen or was it Tyler Boyd?
Oh. Tyler Boyd.
And you would be correct, Joey.
Wow.
828 to Adam Thielen, 726. There's over
Okay.
100 yards more. Which letter would you like?
S?
There are no
on.
S's in
I'm getting the
this
questions right,
puzzle.
so, you know.
JL, it's back to you. We've gotten
Okay.
lots of questions correct, but no letters correct
Yeah.
so far. Would you like a question or would you like to solve?
I need a question.
Also, Scott, you're saying Wawa came up before any letters on the board.
Very impressive.
Our
A
chat's
question for
undefeated.
Dale. Dale, who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Cortland Sutton or was it Darren Waller?
Sutton?
It was Sutton, Dale, by over 100 yards. Which letter
I'm
would
so
you
not
like?
confident in anything I know anymore. My knowledge, I just don't trust it. Let's go with an N.
An N. There are 3
Oh.
N's in this
There we
puzzle,
go.
JL. You can add 1,500 to your total. Would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like another question, or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I would like to buy a vowel.
Okay, which one?
I think Joey already knows it.
Yep. Wait,
Yes.
no, I don't.
I'll buy an I.
An I.
Mhm.
There are 2 I's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 200.
Can I buy an O?
You can buy an O. Is that what you would like to do?
Yeah.
Bonk.
No,
There are no O's
JL.
in this puzzle,
I
JL.
thought that too. I thought
Uh,
that too, but there was a word missing.
Okay, Dave. That means we're going to move on to you. Are you ready? Would you like to solve? Would you like a question?
I'm not
Those are
ready
the
to
only
solve
options.
yet, and I think I can squeeze a little more money out of these jokers. So let's go with it. I got
Okay.
to catch up $1,000 to Joey anyway. So
It's true.
If you solve,
Safe.
you will get a minimum of 1,000, just so you know. So
Got
solving
it.
the puzzle gets you, if you solve it without earning 1,000, you will tie Joey.
Got it.
But if you get more than 1,000, you will probably beat him. This might be our last puzzle. Who had more passing touchdowns last season? Who threw for more passing touchdowns last season? Was it Josh Allen or was it Kirk Cousins?
I think it was Allen.
It was Allen. It was close though. I tried to
Wow.
reverse trick you on that one, and you saw through it, Dave.
It
Which
was like
letter would you like?
34 for Allen. And I was thinking to myself, did Cousins get to 35 or 36? I don't think he did.
Yeah, it was 36 for Allen to right there, and then 33 for Kirk Cousins. So only 3 separating them. That was definitely close. Dave, which letter would you like?
G, please.
A G. There's 1 G in this puzzle. You can buy a vowel if you would like to, or we can move on to the next question, or you can
Yeah.
solve.
I'll play it safe and guess an E.
An E. And there is one
One
E.
E.
In
I
this
bet
puzzle.
you. I bet that Okay. Give me the next question. I'm done with vowels.
Okay, another question. My question for you is, who had more rushing yards last season? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Aaron Jones or was it Cordero Patterson? And this is rushing yards.
Yes, not total yards. Patterson.
I am sorry. It was Aaron Jones with 799 to 618. Dave, this game gets in your head. It makes you start questioning everything you ever knew. Joey, we are back to you. Would you like to solve? Would you like a question, or would you? Those are your only options.
Well, the question.
Okay.
I don't know that first word.
Who had more rushing yards last season, Joey? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Josh Jacobs or was it James Conner?
James Conner had a lot of touchdowns. I think it was 18 to be exact. But
didn't ask that.
I know he didn't ask that, Dave. Thank you. I'm gonna say Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs is correct, Joey.
Yeah.
I thought I might trick you on that one, but you saw through it. Which letter would you like?
M.
There is one M in this puzzle.
Good
Like
one.
to buy a
Some vowels.
vowel?
A.
You can buy one vowel.
Yeah, I can buy one. Okay.
Which one would you like?
A.
There are two A's, Joey, and that is the last of the vowels. So there are no more vowels in this puzzle. Would you like another question? Or would you like to solve?
Interesting.
You said there's no more vowels?
Right.
No more vowels.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, a question,
he's saving you from a potential bonk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My question for you, Joey, is who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Terry McLaurin or was it George Kittle?
Terry McLaurin.
It was Terry McLaurin. Which letter would you like?
L.
There are 3 L's in this puzzle, Joey. You can add 1,500. Wow. Would you like to solve or would you like another question?
Come on, Joey.
I mean, I'm just going to guess. Oh, wait, there's 2. It could be. Oh, God. I'm going to take a question. I need a question because I don't know which one it is.
Okay, my question for you is who had more receiving yards last season, Joey? Who had more receiving yards? Was it Brandon Ayuk?
Oh my God,
or was
I can't believe this. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. Go ahead.
Get this right, Joey. Was it Brandon Ayuk or was it Marquise Brown? Who had more receiving yards last year?
Marquise Brown?
Marquise Brown is correct. Which letter would you like?
Dingus.
A W. It's my favorite animated movie ever. I cannot believe this.
There's one W, Joey.
Now, can you solve it, Joey?
Yeah, Joey,
that's the question.
Can you solve this puzzle?
Do your best.
Oh, it's Wall Eli Manning.
It is Wall Eli Manning, Joey. That is absolutely correct.
Joey. On your birthday.
Sorry for screaming and blowing everyone's ears out. Oh my God.
56 comments.
And Dave, you were right there. You
I
almost
know.
pulled the victory out at the last second, but Joey is going to be our champion today on his birthday of Fantasy Fortune.
Well
nice
done,
job, Joey.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
And Mike said not enough time for JL to come back. That is true.
I feel like the real success story here is that we kept JL from winning.
Yeah.
I literally got no more than the initial toss-up puzzle 500.
Yeah, Pete wants to know, was JL playing?
I didn't even play after that.
You know what? I think I must have skipped you a bunch of times, JL, is what probably happened today. I must have just skipped you over and over again.
That is probably the most brutal beating I've gotten on this show.
Dave, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on and play this game with us today. It's truly been a pleasure hanging out with you, my man.
You know, it's not as fun as being on I can't even make a joke. This was a blast. It was a good time. Thank you so much for having me. And seriously, happy birthday, Joey.
Thank you.
Happy
birthday, awesome.
Joey.
You're tons of fun. You're a great newcomer to the fantasy space, even though you've been here for a year. And Front Yard Fantasy is doing awesome things too. So really thrilled with the stuff that you do and the content you put out. All 3 of you.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate
that.
Yeah, I reached out to the guys like 2 months ago and I was like, can I book my birthday show? And they're like, Joey, just shut up. You can do whatever you want. Fine, whatever. And I had one person on my list and it was Dave. And so this is like, Dave, you know how I feel about you and like how much you've done for me. So this is like it for me. So thank you so much.
The chat piling it on as well. Said, wow, it's Dave Richard. Thanks for making the best fantasy magazine again. Love Dave Richard. Fun show today. And Dave, absolutely. Guys, if you're not already following our friend Dave, go over and do that right now on Twitter at Dave Richard. It's right there below his handsome face on the screen. And before we go, we do have one more reminder. In about 13 minutes, there's something debuting on our YouTube channel. Joe, you want to tell us a little bit about what's coming out in 13 minutes?
Simon booted me from the Fantasy Football Expo, but I find my way back in. 4:15 premiere of the second part of the Starches and Salutations episode from Expo. I learned how to use overlays this week, so get excited, people, because I kind of
overlays.
No, like it's a fun episode. I had a blast filming it at Expo, and looking forward to doing it again next year, and hopefully with everybody that's on the screen right here.
Yeah, hop in that premiere chat. We'll be in there.
Yeah, I will be in there answering questions. Actually, I won't be able to make it, so I'm going to send someone else in my place.
Of course,
that wears a funny hat. So,
and I'll be there. I'll be there just being a nuisance in the chat. So come hang out while we watch this video together, guys. Guys, that is going to be it for us this afternoon. Another huge thanks to Dave Richard for coming on with us today. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time for some more fantasy football game show fun. But until then, tune into the premiere with us shortly right there on our YouTube channel, and we will see everyone then. Adios, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.